Friends, please welcome. This is Brother Ismat, and he is the most stubborn I ever saw in my life. And somehow, we need to convince him to give us back the books about the beautiful Lilliana. It's almost impossible to do, but still there will be a way, and in a moment I'm gonna show you how to get our books back. But let's start from the beginning. The quest will be called Temptation, and you can get this quest in the central Cuanacht in the bookstore over here.
Some blighter broke in and stole every book about the beautiful Lilliana. Not a loose page left. That's most of my income gone in the wind.
And she suspects a young soldier named Walter responsible for this theft, and he will be not far away. Walter, are you guilty?
Oi, wait a moment. You think I stole those books? Beautiful Lilliana is sacred to me, all right? I'd never touch Vrell's stash, I swear. I was saving up for the new volume. Now it's gone? How the hell am I supposed to know what happens to Lilliana next? No!
And of course, he is not guilty. He's just a young man who loves to relax during the work and after the work and even before the work. But anyway, he will point us to the priest. Follow the quest marker and eventually you will find yourself over here. And the priest we are looking will live on the second floor. And he will be total disaster, total nightmare. From that moment, you need to follow my guide very carefully, because every choice will matter, every dialogue option will be important, because if you choose a wrong dialogue option, that's it, he gonna burn the books. Let's go. First, we need to make him confess that he stole the books.
We are the sanctified martyrs. Yes? What reason do you have to interrupt my prayer? What could be more important than this?
Option number 2.
I know which sinner you speak of. I also know he intended to read those books, tainted with lechery. I could not allow that. Because I know all too well what they do to minds prone to living in impurity. As I know what that man intended to do with his sweaty hands panting over the next chapter.
Option number 3.
Of course. I am a red priest, after all. I know much about the struggles of the spirit, about what shatters a person's dignity, about the acts that cloud the mind with a fog.
Now you need to pass a check and you will have several attempts.
I don't like your tone, stranger. However, I won't respond to that with a similar kind of aggression. Let's have it your way. Yes, I stole those books that are thick with words yet imparting no virtue, filled with vulgar, scandalous illustrations.
Okay, and what are you planning to do with those books?
What did I plan? To burn them, of course. That is what Miss Lilliana deserves. That is the fate that befalls a rakish infidel.
Now you need to choose option number 3 or number 4. It really doesn't matter. Let's choose option number 3.
I must refuse you. We will not return these books. They are now part of the Red Church's property. And through me, the Church will decide their fate. They end in fire, where they belong. It is decided.
Option number 2.
I acknowledge that sin is a natural part of the soul, yet equally natural should be penance, to free oneself from that sin. Chasteness does not come easily, but that is why it is a virtue, granting oneself relief through such primitive and vulgar acts, engaging with something as vile as these books. Have you read A Sermon on the Paths of Discipline by Brother Flamen? He makes a proper statement about those types of deviations. Hands that stray toward idle pleasures build no temple.
Actually, no.
Ah, you wish to have at least the bare minimum for discussion. Excellent. Look around our quarters. You should find that text, along with its perfect complement, a sermon on purity and temperance.
Now we need to find 3 books and read them. This is very important. Of course, you can do it before first conversation with him, but it never ends well for me. I try literally everything, so this is the best order. First talk to him, then read the books. One book will be over here. Maybe that's even the same book, but I strongly advise you to read them all. Because with one book, I, for some reason, just don't have all dialogue options. Okay, and the third book will be over here. Now we are ready. Now make a save. That's very important. And let's go.
You have returned. My decision remains unchanged. All of Liliana's books will burn as soon as I finish my prayer.
Option number 1.
So, what has someone like you gleaned from them? I am most curious, especially since it's written that a hand that lingers on selfish desire serves no purpose higher than itself. Know this, the seed is sacred, meant not for waste, but for the cultivation of life and the service of greater purpose.
Okay.
Of course it serves a purpose, a vain and impure one. Such self-gratification weakens the spirit and body. It compels the heart to submit to every fleeting whim. Meanwhile, to be men means resisting those whims, holding back the hand from striking, restraining the hand from depravity. How can a man be ready to protect his loved ones if he's so willing to blind himself through sin? Just to remind you, a blind man cannot fulfill his service either to his kin or Kay, which makes him barren and forever lost.
Service, you mentioned service. We need to choose first option, option number 1.
He serves indeed. It is, of course, a different kind of service than mine, but if you put it that way, it is true that this man, for reasons known to him, started his duty and continues it. I must admit that I hold deep respect for those dedicated to their service. Maybe the soul of that one is not as corrupted as I thought, even if he is so eager to look into those tomes.
And again, option number 1.
I fear that sometimes this tone is necessary in priestly service. We know human nature all too well, do we not? Avoiding an admission of guilt does not mean avoiding punishment. Someone may treat my teachings with disdain, but ultimately, they will still stand before Kay and her word. Your words, however, are wise, and they lead towards reflection. And there it is, the image of modern humanity, knowing no virtues. Stripping purity from every aspect of life, you kill holiness, and then, in the face of life's hardships, you ask where grace has gone.
This time we need to choose option number 2.
Do not waste your time searching for trivial problems. It can be put to much better use. Yes, you might be right about that one, stranger. An excellent observation, and a keen use of the passage from A Sermon on Purity and Temperance, I must admit. This is not about control, my child, but about opening the eyes of those who cannot see. Would it not be better if each of us were ready to receive the prophet's word? A body that succumbs to temptation is a weak body. That is precisely why we must maintain purity, to be ready at any moment to receive the grace of the prophet. As Brother Flamen says, treat your body like a sacred place, not a disgusting brothel, as the pursuits of bodily pleasures is like blindness.
Option number 1.
Through understanding and grace. That is a fragment where Flamen was not mistaken. It is difficult to interpret it otherwise, and his argument is further strengthened by his reference to the texts of esteemed priests. Nevertheless, the matter here is different. It has been stated many times how such acts dull the human mind. Such pleasures are like gathering rotting apples, unproductive at best, and poisonous at worst. So, dear stranger, where did our little discourse lead you? What about my role in all of this? Where would people be without priests, striving to protect them from sin and impurity?
And from this long list, we need to choose option number 1.
Their own business? And what about dedicating the body to Kay? About the fact that each of us becomes a vessel in which her word can resonate.
And here, option number 2.
But a hand that labors for love and creation walks the righteous path. I suppose, then, that those who succumb to temptations can still do good. Speaking with you has been profound. I believe it was Kay herself who led our paths to cross. Thank you deeply for this dispute. You've left me with much to reflect upon. Of course, I'll return your books. For now, I can't decide what should be done with them. It's your call.
And here we go, we got a package of books. Little left to do, we just need to return them to bookstore. Well, believe it or not, but I managed to get your books back.
Thank you. How's Walter? I hope he didn't greet too hard when you made him part with him.
Actually, it wasn't him.
Brother Ismat? A red priest? What for? Don't tell me he wanted to burn them for being indecent.
Exactly, he want to burn your books. Well, this conversation will end this quest and we'll start another, but what more important, the beautiful Lilliana is saved. Thank you for watching, I hope it was helpful, and I will see you in my next one.